Hello and welcome to Rugby World Cup Watchback in association with Heineken. My name is Keith Wood and I'm joined today with former Ireland number 6 Alan Quinlan, though he's number 7 in this day. And we're going to add a little bit of insight and nostalgia to a game from the annals of history. Ireland versus Argentina in 2003 Rugby World Cup Australia. There's a lot of action in the game and we'll join in the commentary only a few times every each half. The game should do most of the talking. So Alan, how are you? How are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm good, Woody. This brings back mixed memories for me. Obviously, it was brilliant to be at a World Cup in Australia, and this was the big one, really. This was kind of the pool decider against Argentina. We'd beaten Romania in the first game and then Namibia, and for me personally to get selected for this, it was massive. There was a lot of competition in the back row. Anthony Foley and Keith Gleeson missed out, and it was Victor Costello, Simon Easterby and myself that played, and I was buzzing. I was really looking forward to this game, and I thought I was mentally, physically ready. And it was such a tense game, after what happened in the '99 World Cup. You remember that very well. I was in the stands in when Argentina knocked us out of the World Cup in '99. But we had a great build up to this game, hadn't we? We stayed in Terrigal for about 18 or 19 days for those first two games, and there was a great mood in the camp, so we were pretty confident.
It was good. It was very relaxed. I remember the night before the game, one of the Irish committee guys said, "Woody, I think it's important that you tell the rest of the team that if they lose this game, it'll cost the union $7.5 million." And I said, "Really? You think I should tell them that?" "Not likely." I said, "I think I'll keep that one to myself." This was a huge game for us because it meant an ensured qualification for the following World Cup as well. And they were essential at that period of time. And we wanted to make certain that we were staying at the top table. This is actually my first full game of rugby in 12 months. And I remember being nervous beforehand and trying to get the team right beforehand. But also, it was a palpable tension on that pitch. It's in the Don Bradman Stadium. It's a beautiful stadium in Adelaide, a cricket oval. But because it's an oval, the fans are a long way away. And it was so unusual. And Argentina had been our hex team. So this was the big game for us. If we won this game, it put us in a position to maybe get a better draw for the quarterfinal. That's what we needed to do. So we had to win this game. So that's the kind of backdrop to the level of nervousness that we had. A little bit of bad blood between the two teams as well. I know you scrapped with them a little bit, Quinny, but they were a big team, and all their preparation went into this World Cup. They weren't playing in a huge amount of competitions at that stage. That was the worst ever mascot of all time. That was only mascot for about 6 weeks. But
yeah, it was hot as well, wasn't it? There, it was hot there as well, and I remember coming out for the warm-up with metal studs in my boots, and I had a second pair of boots. The pitch was so bloody hard. It was a cricket pitch, and I couldn't believe how hard the pitch was. But it was great conditions to play. It was warm. We wanted to play a quick brand of rugby. You know, I loved running around the field and stuff like that, as much as I could get the ball in my hands, and little did I know it came back to bite me, that hard pitch later on in the game. But as you said, there was a rivalry starting to build, particularly after '99, and we played them again in 2002 in Dublin. We beat them 16-7. There was a little bit of niggle coming between the two teams, but this was just so crucial, as you say, about the RFU committee person telling you about the money it would cost and how much it would cost the union if we didn't qualify for the next World Cup. We felt the pressure. Eddie O'Sullivan, our coach, was under massive pressure. If we didn't get out of the group, I think he probably wouldn't have got a new contract. So it was really tense affair, and it was massive pressure on all the players getting onto the field.
I mean, we'd easy matches beforehand against Romania and Namibia. It was, you know, we won those games well. They were hard, they were physical because they're two big teams, but we won fairly comprehensively. But this was the game I think that we were all waiting for. And it was funny because we were in Terrigal for a couple of weeks, beautiful seaside town a couple of hours north of Sydney. We got to meet the locals, got to understand that the World Cup was going on without a huge amount of pressure, and everything is perfect until you go and play a big game, you know. So nobody had done anything wrong at this point. So it actually all came down to this. It was quite nerve-wracking, actually. And I remember feeling nervous from it. I had a lot of injuries going into the World Cup. I'd taken a few knocks in the first couple of games. But I was kind of ready for it. And it's funny, when you're looking at the fans, Adelaide was drunk dry on the Friday night, and they had to bring new trains of beer down for the Saturday for the match. So the Irish fans had gone fairly ballistic while they were down there.
Yeah, it's unbelievable looking back at that. Paul O'Connell with hair. You never had hair anyway. John Hayes never had hair, but seeing Paulie with hair there is strange. And just the emotion, you can see the pressure and what kind of pressure the team were under. We knew that from the coaches before the game. And you mentioned about Argentina, you're going into the unknown. You can have all sorts of game plans against them, and they're just so physical, get in your face, don't give you any time to settle. And that was really their game plan, get out and put massive pressure on us.
Well, I'm just looking there at Federico Mendes, who, as an 18-year-old, felled Paul Ackford in Twickenham all those years before that, a lot of years before it. But Mendes was a prop who played hooker, and they used a 3-prop front row for the most part. I can tell you that going into this game, my whole game plan, scrummaging was to put him into the floor. He was a much bigger man than I was, and let his weight count against him. But yeah, nerve-wracking, and great anthem actually. The Argentinian anthem is a cracker.
We'll have a little listen to it. There's Pisha, Carletto, Albanese, who scored in '99 that famous try when they knocked us out of the World Cup. Felipe.
Cantapone with a full head of hair.
All the baldy lads would love to rewind back and get the hair back in their head.
Well, the trick was to be bald early, and nobody knows you any different.
You went early, yeah. They were powerful though. Roberto Grau and Reggiardo. You mentioned Mendes there. That was a big front row for Argentina, and Fernandez Lopez and Alvarez then the second row. A brace of physical guys.
It's funny, our plan was to try and move them around the field because they were so big. I think their plan was just to wait for us to make mistakes. So it's a fairly nervy, there is errors in it, but it's exciting from start to finish. But I always love this fact when you, especially some of the more Latin teams, to see the level of passion that they'd have when they go and sing it.
Well, they are certainly at the crossroads, Argentina. This is make or break for them. If they lose here today, they will...
Make or break for us as well, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Both sides are under massive pressure.
As the cultural capital...
So we were going to play...
Whoever lost this, we were out.
Yeah. Well, that was the view, because if you had to win this, and if you beat Australia in the next game, you'd have a better opportunity for a better route into the semi-finals. But we had another throw at the dice, but I think we all knew in our heart of hearts that this day was going to count for everything.
Yeah, they didn't. They were already beaten by Australia, so they couldn't afford to lose a second game, or they were out. So I think that heightened the tension a little bit.
Especially running into this breeze today, and there we see the man that will lead the charge, Brino Driscoll.
Strico and his dreadful hair. He had a bit of blonde locks put in at that stage. Never suited him.
he slimmed down over the years, Drico, didn't he?
Oh, he was strong then. Yeah.
Nice and plump then, wasn't he?
He was.
You have a big thick neck in you there.
I'll tell you what, scrummaging, my God almighty, it's gone now. I don't need it anymore. So the amount of times on the bloody scrummaging machines going in to get a shirt to fit you never really worked. But a little bit easier now. Whatever it is, 20, God almighty, 17 years later.
You see the referee, Andre Watson. I think he was the fellow who gave me the yellow card on that famous night in Auckland in 2002.
You deserved
forget
it.
that one.
And immediately Contropomi sends it down to Costello. Big Victor Costello. Celebrated his 33rd birthday last week. Now Humphreys going wide to O'Driscoll.
I'm not sure that was the best choice there.
No, but we moved them a little bit. I think that's Gordon Bray commentating. Voice of our youth, I think, for the most part, down in Channel 9 in Australia.
First line out, this is that's why myself and Simon were picked. Try and put a bit of pressure, get extra line out options. Victor's uplifting Paulie at the front there with Reggie.
So Andre Watson, what he's saying here is, I want you both a metre apart, please. You can't close the gap.
Didn't get off the ground.
No, I always think it's a big issue picking players to try and do a job they don't do normally just because they're tall. I'd have left John Hayes there because John Hayes could throw him up on his own.
So collapsing the ball against Ireland.
Don't collapse it. You're working on the legs, stay up, please.
And it's against that Irish player on the ground there. Deliberately
That was Mal pulled down that maul.
So
I think there was a fear factor anyway. They were always going to try and maul us. And that was one of the messages before the game. Don't let him get set up. Don't let him get a rumble going. I think Mal just fell on the ground there. He didn't actually collapse, pull anyone down, but they fell over him.
So the Argentinians will be playing to their strengths this afternoon. This massive forward pack taken up by Contropomi. He's got over the advantage line. Pichot burrowing in, but Ireland slowed it down. And this is where they'll try and muscle up. This is Corletto. Moving it just wide of the ruck and exposing Ireland, perhaps surprising Ireland a little as they've shifted the ball wider. 22-metre line. O'Connell couldn't pick it up. Quesada. This is Contropomi. So now inside the quarter. Pichot to Contropomi.
It was a high tackle anyway from Victor. Definite penalty nowadays, but not there.
No, you were allowed to do an awful lot more at that stage.
And now there's a delicate kick from Quesada, but it's gone too far. And really,
they actually started well there, you know, changed the point of attack a fair few times. I remember running around the far side of the ruck, the ball coming back to the middle, then going the other way and it going back the other side.
Yeah, I got caught 3 times in that move. I was just watching, running to the wrong place, and they kept moving it back. It's one of my favourite styles of rugby, actually, is up on both sides of the ruck.
That was a desperate kick from Humps.
Well, it's amazing the nerves that the guys can feel, you know. It's I think fans kind of miss on what nerves actually are and what it does to you. It just tightens up an awful lot of the movements that you can actually have.
Alvarez. And that's Roberto Grau.
John Hayes and yourself, the 2 baldy heads there, put in a good impact tackle.
There you go. We often get called by our own names, by each other's names. It'll be a yellow card now.
It would be, yeah, it would be.
It's not even a penalty.
The referee said he was happy. He was going for the ball. So it's only a mark. It's a free kick.
Gives him the mark, not even a penalty, yeah. It's amazing how it's changed. But none of us complained or anything there. That's just the way it was. It's a great take from Gervin, in fairness.
Eyes off the ball. Tremendous work. Doesn't matter what's coming at him, he kept the eye and came up with the rewards.
Now, if that's not interfering with the man in the air, I don't know what is. He was not making any effort to go for the ball there.
Even then, it should have been a penalty, should it?
Of course it should. In fairness to Andre Watson, he liked the game to flow, and I would have said he'd only penalise half the stuff in a game anyway. His idea was just to try and keep it moving all the time. I liked him as a ref. I thought it meant it actually meant that the game did go fairly well. It didn't get too frustrating.
They're going to 5-man here.
Having a little bit of trouble at the moment.
4-man line out. I'm at scrum half.
Had actually left the line.
We've got Reggie, Paul, Mal and Hayes. Gone 5 now. Martin has come in.
I was defending inside 10 for this whole World Cup. So covering whoever played at 10. It was Raj and Humps, different times.
Ricciardo tries to hit Argentina. Have it in control here. Longo, just a little isolated. Now Quesada again. And that's the number 4 Fernandez Lobo scouting wide. And this is definitely a scoring opportunity for Argentina.
That was a harsh penalty.
I told you he was good. He said I was fine.
No, it was harsh. I think he said. Simon came in the side. You were fine. I don't see anything wrong with Simon. Just locked onto your back, Simon Easterby, and it's one of those ones in interpretation, isn't it? They got a little bit of momentum forward, but your body position was perfect.
Yeah, not like me. This was their game plan, was to try and put us under pressure and bang over penalties. That's all they wanted to do. That was their plan for the whole time. Was just to get Quesada just to slot them.
Yeah, they had an ability to move the ball, and but they had an ability to move the ball as well. Albanese was dangerous, Carletto was dangerous, Felipe was a good ball player from in midfield, but they wanted to play direct, up in the air, direct running, punching it up the middle. It was no surprise to us, but they were good, and when they keep the ball, they were very, very good at doing that.
And the Pumas are a penalty goal up. Early stages.
I never thought he'd miss. It was one of the parts of the game that pressure was. They loved their 10s all the way back to Hugo Porta. They love their 10s to pop the ball over. That's how they want to play. Big beef up front.
Restart from Humphreys.
Another desperate kick from home. So I must slag him about this when I look back at it. Way too deep. No hang time.
That's the 2 kicks by Humphreys so far.
I think you were lacking the pace to get up there, Quinny.
Try and get height on the ball and get
No, he'd no height on it. Even the commentator is saying it.
to get through on the person catching the
Now
ball.
this is our first line out.
An extra 15 metres too far and no pressure on the ball taker.
Good throw, good take.
Taken at the back there by Quinlan. And now Ireland.
I justified my existence there by taking that line out.
Quinlan.
There you go again. Ball up. Not like you, Quinny. 2 plays at the start. Penalty already. Excellent.
Just losing his footing. And now the referee's spotted some offside. I think he's called advantage. In behind, Carletto, last line, O'Driscoll through.
He's not happy, Carletto, there with Dricko's little bit of a shot in the back.
Yeah,
good kick from Humps. I would have went back for the penalty though, would you?
Yeah, it's funny. You don't get the you didn't get the choice.
In behind Carletto, making him turn. And O'Driscoll takes him out just on the line.
This was a nightmare area for Argentina with Ledesma throwing.
Mal didn't budge there in the air.
Mendes is now in and adding a lot more solidity.
Look at that push from Ireland, putting tremendous pressure on the Argentinian forward pack. And the kick under pressure.
So Ireland and Argentina are sitting on 10 points in Pool A, 4 behind Australia. Wallabies and Ireland.
Did we shorten this line out or full line out?
In the final pool match for those.
Full line out,
remember all the way back.
This is Argentina.
You won one, you win another one.
Safe bet at the back of the line out again.
They're on their way home if they don't. So Quinlan running strongly. And Stringer. O'Driscoll.
Should have held on to that there, really. Dricko knows it himself.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head for it, but you just want to hold the ball. When you spend any time in the opposition 22, you need to hold on to the ball for a period of time. So even though we were going to put them under a lot of pressure, line-out wise, Mendes wasn't a big fan of the line-outs. It's rich, I suppose, coming from me, but.
So Longo's there, so solid.
Your darts weren't too bad, to be fair. They got better as the years went on.
That's it, indeed. I'm afraid to say that in case we come up to one now that goes skew whiff, but yeah, they're under huge pressure all the time.
Pressure coming through from the back.
Our lineup was going well though, coming into this. I think even in training against each other, with a lot of good line-out options. See, you hit the banker there again.
3 from 3, Quinny.
3 from 3. Good carry from Magsy there.
Now Stringer. Quinlan on the angle.
Don't think you've ever done as much work in an opening few minutes of a game, Quinny.
No, 3 lineouts, 3 carries after 3 lineouts. Jesus. I'm surprising myself here.
Humphreys. Working to Costello.
Yeah, we needed to get Victor on the ball. That's why he was picked. He was so dynamic and powerful, and great ball carrier.
And Humphreys throwing a half dummy almost through.
They just made it difficult for us, didn't they? Breakdowns were a bit scrappy.
But they're tackling low and hard.
And they're very chunky.
Defensive formation. O'Driscoll. Wood. Keith Wood can't make any headway.
That's a tremendous tackle by the Argentinians. It looks like turnover ball.
Yeah, I got absolutely shunted there now.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure now. I think there was a good few of them off their feet there, but that's the competitiveness that they have. They swarm in everywhere. You should have left a little flick out the back door there. You see, I think it's Alvarez tackles you there, and anyway, if it was nowadays, I'm not sure it would be allowed, that one, but
I don't, but I was too high going into it. I'm happy enough to. I love playing with Magsy. He was always getting over the gain line.
Brilliant.
Here goes Humphreys. Horgan gets his first touch. Albanese underneath. So we're on the 10-metre line in Puma's territory. Keith Woods.
They loved you, didn't they, the RGs?
They did.
They weren't going to give you any.
I got a lot of grief on this day.
Hickey's there first.
Yeah, that was poor. Now it was sloppy at that breakdown, and I think Strings just stood up and hit it off one of his own, our own players, and ball went loose and being in a decent position. I just think we just a little bit sloppy. I think I just remember the breakdown being just a dogfight every single time against them. That's credit to them because they were so competitive. No, that wasn't my best, was it? But you tidied it up.
Left-footed kick, did you like that?
Yeah, super. Bit of Gaelic football there, and yeah. I didn't like my fourth line out where I just slapped it down on the ground. It was a 4+1 we had there. A bit sloppy there for me.
Mal makes up
we
first.
got Mal in the air. Yeah.
Taken away by O'Kelly.
Yeah, that's stuff that you love as a forward at pack, isn't it? When you win a line out and you get a penalty, it's a massive psychological boost, you know, after making probably a little bit of a mistake at the previous couple of breakdowns when Strings lost the ball and we end up back in our own 22. You get a second on the air, win the ball and force a penalty and you're down the field.
Collapses the maul and someone can cause serious injury, hence the reason why they brought it in as a penalty offence.
Well, I think the number 10 for Ireland today, David Humphreys, will be looking to find touch a lot today to try and put the Argentinian throwers under pressure in the line-out.
You lost him there,
that
Quinny.
wasn't one of your best.
Did you lose that or did I?
It was a bit of both of us, to be fair.
The ball had drifted across the line.
Yeah, I'd won 3 at the tail though, and they just moved Alvarez back there. That wasn't a great call now from who was calling the line-up? Was it Paul or Mal?
Paulie.
Paul was, yeah. Yeah, he was being marked to the front, so I think the ball there was to hit Mal in the middle. There's another one, unfortunately.
I put too much onto that one. You know, when you're talking to kids at the moment, or even professional players at the moment, you say that the next thing you do after you make a mistake should be something that's very, very simple. I wish I'd listened to my own advice at that stage, you know.
Yeah, but it's hard for you as the hooker. You just got to go with the call, and it's good play from Alvarez and Argentina, where they put a pod back there as well, you know, and they marked Mal up at the tail as well. Obviously, you want to try and win the ball at the tail of the line-out, because then you can attack so much easier. But it's sometimes it's just about winning the ball, and we'd won a few at the tail, and geez, that was a good hit off from Drico, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gervin Dempsey had plenty of time there. We took the kick a little bit too early.
Just remember the nerves and the tension. You could just feel it with each mistake that we made. The tension started building further and further.
You just wonder whether they were foxing in that first game against Australia. They've certainly got their number one side out on the pitch here tonight. Referees again saying it was collapsed. Quesada.
Not sure who pulled that one down. Could have been me.
And he's wrapped up by Kevin Maggs. Good clean out by Fernandez Lobe. Onto Pomi on his left boot. Just relishing that extra room.
In fairness to Gervin, he was a great goalie. If anything happened, you know, you could always trust him behind you. And he scored a good few tries, but he was there for safety reasons.
Yeah, he was rock solid, wasn't he? That was a great kick downfield.
Dennis Hickey. Coming off the side.
And that wasn't
one of Dennis's best ones.
I think it did. Bad luck there for Nunez.
We got away with that Piasek. Very, very quick. If he caught that on the full there, I think we were under a bit of pressure. We were scrambling a bit.
And Dennis Hickey putting the kick straight down his throat.
I was on with O'Driscoll recently. We were picking our team of the 21st century, and I was very close to putting Dennis on. He was great for me at the end of my career. He was a really good senior head. We had a lot of young kids in the back line, and it was great to have a guy like him being able to speak at the right time, give you a different view, different perspective. He kind of grew into the role because he was a very quiet guy up until the last 2 or 3 years playing with me anyway. So
yeah,
there's a lot of claret, a lot of claret shed in this game. Actually, there was bruises, good few shoeings. Marcus Horan we see coming on instead of John Hayes.
Yeah, Reggie goes over tight it, and a young looking Marcus there, isn't it?
Very young, yeah. And eager by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Reggie was trying to get into a good position there. Reggie was not a comfortable tight head. This is not something he would have liked overly. But again, this is where I thought Watson was pretty good. He let him get a chance because that was a penalty. But he knows that we don't. Yeah.
Of course, you'd only one prop on the bench back then.
Yeah.
Couldn't bring on the two, so you needed that flexibility in the sub prop to be able to kind of cover both sides or
sorry, Quinny. I'm just looking at strings there. I'd say that was the first break he made in about 4 years, and he didn't make another one for another 4 years when he scored the try in the final in the European final.
Ahead of him.
So, yeah.
He knows that was the wrong call. Just pass the ball, Strings. That's what you were there for. In fairness, he had a bullet of a pass, but wasn't renowned for his breaks.
Peppers, Fernandez Lobe, Keith Woods. Here it is for Quinlan. Coletto.
I'll let you talk through this one, Woody.
I was just going to say the same to you. It was a sloppy ball at the back of the line out and a little bit of a show and go from me. and of course you were there where you were the whole time on my inside. So I can just see the pain on your face. You need to talk about that. Tell us exactly what happened when you scored.
You can see my shoulder just popped out there. You just hit. I don't know. I just anticipated the ball going through and then being on your shoulder. I just fancied getting there. I remember when you gave me the ball, I always thought I'm going to score here. But Corletta was very quick. I showed a little bit of pace myself then, thankfully, but you could see my arm there, and thankfully I just held on to the bloody ball and was able to touch it out and see my arm kind of flopping across there. I was in bloody agony at this stage now. It was the most painful thing ever. And obviously I wasn't thinking about anything else but the pain that was going through my body at that stage. But when it settled down a little bit, I was certainly glad I scored.
I used to slag you about it, that you martyred yourself for the Ireland jersey on that day, and of course I slagged you for most of your life, so that'd be fairly normal. But when I think back to you drive me mad. You were very, very talented, really athletic, cracking footballer. But I felt at times your concentration was wasn't what it needed to be. And on this World Cup, I actually thought you'd come of age, and I felt that this was your chance to not just to shine, but I thought you'd be one of the greats actually. And I couldn't get over how well you trained and played. And in this match, you were playing fantastic. You didn't make it. You didn't put a foot wrong in the whole thing. That was a phenomenal try. I actually really felt for you after that because of the effort you'd put in to get there. And like you know, rugby's a really tough game. It can be very destructive. Sometimes you get a chance, sometimes you don't. I just thought you were in top form. You were in the best form of any of the players on the World Cup trip that time.
Yeah, well, I felt good coming into the game because obviously there's so many good back rows there, and to get picked ahead of Axel, Keith Leeson, and get that vote of confidence from Eddie, I just remember I was absolutely buzzing before the game, and just I felt that my time had come, but unfortunately it was gone pretty quickly there again, and it was heartbreaking just to miss that. Obviously, as I said, the initial pain was just phenomenal, but when the dawn of and realization that you're not getting back out in the field first and foremost. I was convinced then that I could get back for the game next week against Australia, just put my shoulder back in and I'll be fine, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. It was a disaster.
No,
but anyway, you continued on without me. You continued on without me, Woody.
We did. We put Eric Miller on instead, and it's a fickle game. You know, you get chances, things happen for you, you get injured. I missed nearly the same number of games for Ireland that I played because of injury. So it's part and parcel of the game for the most part.
Normally not their strength, but they're going to run at this Irish defence and they're going to put them under pressure.
So where were you now? You were inside. Did they put it back into place inside in the changing room?
No, I'm inside now, and they're trying to pop my shoulder back in. They're lying me on my tummy, on my back. They're trying everything, and eventually they sit me over a table and put my arm down, or over a chair, put my arm down the back of it, and doctor just pulls down on my bicep and it pops back into place, and the relief was just phenomenal. Pain stopped, popped back in place, and I'm off to the hospital with Gerard Carmody for an x-ray.
Taken away by Argentina right in front of the goalpost here.
And we're struggling in on our goal line. That's penalty.
So they're just trying to get a rolling ball going, but
moderately offside there.
Casado now. Intercept. Horgan read it beautifully. O'Driscoll's lurking. Now it's a race. Humphreys and Contraponi leading the way.
Well, I tell you,
in fairness to Shane Horgan, what a pain in the neck he was for guys to play against. He was too big for a winger almost. He was all arms and legs. He was kind of able to snatch a ball out of anywhere, but Drico is well able to hoof a ball when he gets going.
Yeah, but Shaggy was a good reader of the game. But that, to be honest, that's poor attack from Argentina. You be telling any team nowadays, when you get into 22, hold on to the ball a little bit longer. I think they just went a little bit early there with that attack, and it was a terrible pass. Shaggy could read that, and psychologically that's a massive blow. Now when you're on the line, you suddenly end up on the other end of the field. And I think
even though it's 25 minutes in and we're 7-3 up, I still can't get over the feeling of pressure that we were feeling at this stage. You could barely hear the crowd. There was noise, but it wasn't reacting as quickly as you would expect it to, because they were so far away. It was unbelievably nerve-wracking.
Now Pichot burrows in. And Quesada wanting a big kick here. Paddy O'Brien, the touch judge on the far side.
I know we haven't done a huge amount, but they've done absolutely nothing so far. It's just get the ball, kick the ball, put us under pressure. Jack Charlton type rugby.
But that's what happened. This was a cup game. It was just, it didn't really matter. I think both sides are pretty nervous.
That was O'Kelly. And now O'Driscoll. And Hickey. Very slippery customer. Nunez Piasek taking him inside the quarter. Stringer now.
It's a bit slow, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit at ruck time. I mean, that's great play to get there. Humphrey's taking a lot of ball into contact, which isn't his form at all, actually.
Ireland has certainly got up a gear now. They lead by 7-3.
Breakdown is slow again, isn't it?
Kinglan's off the pitch and Humphreys is charged down. Great work there by Alvarez, the big lock. Now Hickey. 25 metres out. Stringer. Here's Horgan from the right wing.
Advantage, went straight over it. Pass overhead.
Puma players leaving their feet. Here's Costello. Almost losing his cruisers there. Now there's a chance for Hickey. Fernandez Lobbe, the big lock covering brilliantly, but a cheeky little pass.
No advantage.
No advantage.
He's got to go back there, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. I was just looking.
I was about to start shouting there. Stop, and go back and take the penalty.
Have you watched this game, by the way? Did you watch this after the fact, or did you only watch it up until you got injured?
No, I watched it, but skimmed through it. Like, I wasn't as focused as I would be now, or watching it in latter years. I remember just being in. All I kept asking Ger Carmody in the hospital was, "What's the score? What's happening?" He was on the phone back to somebody, and he was updating me on the score of what was going on.
I was just looking at Paddy O'Brien, the referee, the New Zealand referee, is one of the touch judges there. As Humps pops this over. After I retired, he said to me, "By the way, Woody, you were the captain I liked least in World Rugby."
Oh, Jesus.
Which I thought
Why
was a
was
horrible
that?
thing to say. He just said he felt I had a way of phrasing things that used to put him under pressure. So he didn't like to answer them properly, because it was one of the ways that no matter what way he answered it, he felt as if he was showing favouritism. So he hated it.
It wasn't the right answer for you.
Yeah, so I wish he kind of said that to me earlier. I may have changed it, Good ref.
That's sloppy now, isn't it? Jesus.
Good work by Albanese. So Argentina really wanting to get back into this game.
Good kickoff that should have been taken, and then Humps knocks it on, and your man pops it over the bar.
I mean, that's the worst kick of all time, and it goes over. It barely, it went to the height of the bar all the way nearly from his boot, but it was very, very messy. And you'd say now, as we would then, that your score is over once you've actually collected the ball from the kickoff, and that kickoff was very, very sloppy.
It was shocking, and that's what you say to any kids playing any match. When you score, the most important thing is win the kickoff next. And they messed one up there, but Paulie hit your man in the air, Alvarez.
He's trying to make up for knocking his own ball back a while afterwards, and
No, it was Ostigla.
Yeah, that was. He got his timing all wrong. It's just nervy. I still remember it as being a nervy game.
Yeah, it's a lot of mistakes. Just there's pressure everywhere, and they're very difficult to play against. These guys were very good players, but they love to be in your face. They love putting pressure, aggression.
I remember in the '99 game when we lost that game, the press afterwards had said it was a disgrace, and I remember saying afterwards that there's absolutely no disgrace losing to Argentina. The disgrace was in the manner in which we played. I mean, we played really badly, but everybody used to ignore Argentina at their peril, and they got to the semi-final. They came third in the World Cup in 2007. We've never got to a semi-final, so people would write this team off all the time, but we never did. It was always uncomfortably awkward.
Yeah, they got better though. This group of players, they got better. In 07, they were far more complete as regards the way they played the game.
Driven backwards in the tackle. Mendez.
Reggie shot out of the line there a little bit.
Behind by Hayes. Pichot wants quick ball. But Ireland very good at slowing it down. Here's Quesada. Getting that ball almost in simultaneous contact.
Great tackle by Mags in the tight.
Would that be a penalty now, Woody, nowadays, for Magsy not rolling away there?
I don't think so. There was an element of that being caught, and I would still follow the idea of the spirit of the law, because you'll find a technical infringement on nearly everything that happens. And the game is changing. You can see it down in New Zealand at the moment, how things are being reffed. They're being reffed a little bit tighter to the law. But there is a spirit of it. You can fall on the wrong side and you can know that actually that just was a physical guarantee that you're going to fall, because momentum would bring you down onto it. That should never be a penalty. So the referee has to have a decent feel for the game to understand the spirit of what's happening in every time. Otherwise, every single thing is an infringement. And, actually this World Cup was the time when the game became incredibly legal. And I don't think that we've got the best benefit out of the game because of that. I think there's a little bit of opinion should be allowed.
The upper body strength of the Argentine forwards coming to the fore.
They're setting up these little mini mauls, aren't they, at the side of the breakdown. Lost the ball there, but it's so hard to defend that as well. Corletto or Ignacio Fernandez Lobe, who was a very, very powerful, strong second row. Not the tallest in the world, but he was wide and really, really good centre of gravity. Just picking up the ball, setting up little mauls. He was, yeah.
Heavy hitting, trying to tire us out, trying to get one of us to go off our feet or do something wrong or not get up into the line. There's methods to this sort of almost brutality that they have. It's just to look for a chink somewhere.
Great work by Alvarez again. Very aggressive jump forward. Longo. Finally taken low to Grasim. Here's Roberto Grau.
Argentina making easy yards in the middle. Ireland have got to step up their defence.
Now Contepomi goes to Martin. And Martin's looked very powerful in the midfield. Driscoll coming through there to try and slow it down. This is Mendez, the hooker. Made his first test as an 18-year-old schoolboy against the Irish back in 1990. And this one is out in front.
He's apologising there to Mal. I think Mal is okay there, isn't he?
Absolutely fine, yeah. That was, even in the laws at the time, that was fine, I think. And
yeah, you didn't have to give this clear. You didn't have to give the clear release, but that you do now. So I think he was perfect. You got a good low tackle on Mendez, and
But even then, referees would tend to go with the team that had the ball, and they were putting us under huge pressure. So I think our defensive line at that stage, we had a little bit of a drift defence for some reason in our back line, and so they were getting 10 yards over the gain line before we stopped. That puts the forwards under a lot of pressure. I do think we tinkered with our defensive setup too often then. The blitz defence for Ireland is one where we're most comfortable. Still are, I believe.
We should have had it against Argentina. I remember it being a little bit passive, all right. I think Mike Ford, who was our defence coach at the time, wanted us to stay connected and felt that probably the blitz defence guys were shooting out of the line at times on their own. So there was more of an emphasis, but there was times there that were quite slow off the line, weren't we? And they had a lot of space, particularly in the wider channels, just to run onto it. They weren't really hurting us, but just to run onto the ball.
That's just too easy. That manner, they get the ball back to him. He kicks it 55 yards. Life isn't off that easy.
Even though they had a lot of pressure. Yeah, and even though they had a fair bit of pressure on us, some of the scores there, you'd be disappointed. The drop goal, that last penalty could have went the other way, and suddenly you're a point behind, although we haven't really attacked them for long periods either. So I suppose it's probably a fair reflection of the game that there's a point in it.
Oregon on the burst. Here's Keith Woods.
Ireland still at the moment going 1 hour play, and Stringer's getting this ball slow.
That's a really good carry out of you, but it's very poor out of I think it's Victor. It was just way too high. You know, the ball was placed there, and credit again to Argentina. Good counter ruck. Watch it here. It's Simon and Victor way too high. Roberto Grau just unsettles him there, and very sloppy stuff again, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they were waiting for me too, and I have to say, especially against Argentina, if they get the tackle right, they were very low. I mean, that's a textbook tackle on a guy who's going in, like I was going in very low, with the sort of drop shoulder to try and knock them into the ground, and they're still below it, which is, you know, it's good play. That used to drive me mad when people would get that right, you know. You were hoping that they'd come up to try and smash you, and you do well instead.
Even better than they did against Ireland in 1999.
Argentina having his line out without their halfback. Bishop in the background receiving attention for his shoulder. Watson saying, play the ball.
So Ostiglia soaring. That's his 5th line-out win. Longo exposing Ireland on the short side.
He was a good player there, number 8, Longo. Really good player.
That's the problem for me defending inside 10, is you leave the blind side open. So they'd obviously figure that out at that stage.
It's the Argentine forwards who are calling the tune. Shot first receiver to Oringo. Very experienced and strong for a little man. Quesada, Contepomi.
Now that's poor execution after getting a really good gain line there from them.
I look at that and say just how lucky we were. That ball goes to hand. I think we're under huge pressure. And it's funny because you're looking at all of this and saying we make mistakes, they make mistakes. Go back to the pressure and tension that's in this ground. It's crazy. There's no air there. It's just, I mean, you're glad when you get into the shade on this side of the field.
Advantage in possession and territory, Argentina, in this first term. That seems to be. Argentina has effectively nullified Ireland's driving maul today. Here's Humphreys.
Do you feel tense, you, out in the field now? I'm gone at this stage, so what are you feeling, Woody?
For me, I'm feeling going through the different parts. You just deal with them as you deal with them. But it's the constant sense that they're only a kick away from being in the lead, and their scores are far too easy. Whereas we're really having to work hard for our scores. They seem to be having an easy time doing it. So even though we're in the lead, I feel as if actually we're the ones that are under the most pressure.
Yeah.
And now Colotto. He loves to counter, but he's rammed it straight down the throat of Dempsey. And he's used the breeze beautifully to take it over halfway.
That relieves a bit of pressure. You can just feel a bit of tension going out of it. Just did the simple thing so well, didn't he, Gervin?
Yeah.
Just composure and control.
Knowing the wind's at their back. And they've slowed the game down to their pace and then picked the pace up when they've got the ball.
Taken away by Alvarez, fooling everyone. Mendes now in support. They've made 25 metres with that little sortie up the front. Now there's a decoy. Nunes Piasek to Colletto. Taken a bit high by Mags.
Geez, it would have been a disaster to concede a try there, wouldn't it?
Well, I'm trying to, because I haven't watched this game for years and years. I'm trying to remember what happened. I'm feeling a little bit nervous watching it going into half-time.
Not a great decision.
All the good work by Argentina.
Yeah, that was a massive turnover there.
Good backline plays, all comes undone.
Again, that's a penalty, isn't it, nowadays? But Magsy did well to stop Corletto there.
Yeah, but it
But
was no
not
way a
then,
penalty.
so
then.
obviously it wasn't a penalty.
Valuable ground.
If you want to take an advantage, take it within the laws. You can't take it 5 metres to the left of the mark. I'm sorry.
So the
Where's the
referee's
mark?
just saying there, you've got to take the penalty from the mark.
Spoke about this before.
I'm not sure why Stringer's taking a quick penalty there. The clock is in the red.
I want to play it fast, but
And Hum's kicking
Yeah.
the ball up the field. I think Dennis was calling for the other side of the field. They'd no one in the backfield.
Very good communicator with the
But-
players, always talking. And the players always know where they stand with Andre Watson.
thank you. Yeah, that's all right.
Well, he's certainly doing a very...
It's in the red, but it's a different red to now.
And one of the great
You know,
things
it's-
about Andre Watson is
It's when the referee blows the whistle, it's half-time.
Right,
not
when his whistle goes, yeah.
Yeah.
and treats them with respect the way that he likes
But
to.
still, being under the pump there, just put it out.
The players down, especially
Yeah.
when you get into heated situations. He's a great communicator in that way.
You must have had your earplugs in when he was...
I wouldn't like to be on the receiving end of you if they messed up there and Argentina got a penalty or something.
Come back and do the same.
I was always a pushover, wasn't I? Didn't give too many guys a hard time.
Oh,
Mistake from
Jesus.
Victor.
Terrible.
Lumbered onto that ball.
They looked like they didn't know what they were doing there. Who was going to carry?
Ricciardo now, the tight
Two of the best carriers in the Irish team, Magsy and Victor Costello, and they hesitating.
off the side of his boot. Awful kick.
That's half-time, I think.
Off to the dressing sheds. It's half-time. And it's been a real war of attrition. Ireland getting the only try through Quinlan. It's the emerald green.
It's funny, you're watching the players going off and you'd always try and get into the psychology of the opponents, run off ahead of them. Some of their big forwards are walking, lumbering, I would say, a little bit. But look, we would have been happy, but not in a panic, but in a very nervous place, because we'd let them score too easily. And you getting injured is a bit disturbing as well, because you're on fire. And now we're just trying to go play the game in their part of the field. We spent very little time in their half, and that had to change. We had to get the ball down there. Too often we were trying to run it out, make too many silly mistakes. We're definitely playing the second half in their half. That was the idea anyway. I think we got there a little bit, but not too much. Are you in hospital now at this stage, Quinny?
Yeah, I'm still there. I didn't get back till the game was just over when I got back. So I think the whole realization and the for me is the pain is stopped now. So I'm starting to think about the consequences of what's happened and stuff with my shoulder, and I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted because, but genuinely, I'm like every 2 minutes I'm asking Ger Carmody, ring and find the score, find out what's happening. He was brilliant. He was in the hospital, went in the ambulance with me, and I just had to hang around for a bit and get an X-ray. I don't even think I went straight in there. I think I was waiting for a little bit, but it seemed like it went very, very quick for me. But obviously, it was probably over an hour by the time I went and came back, and the match was just finished.
We didn't give you a second thought, Quinny, I have to say. It's funny.
And
the second a guy gets injured, you're gone. All the best. Good luck.
If you were gone, I wouldn't be giving you a second thought either, because you can't. You give the thought after the match. This game was just all about winning. It was just trying to get a result. If we'd lost this game and went out of the World Cup, I know we had a second bite of the cherry the following week against Australia, but if we'd lost this game, it would have been an absolute disaster. And it was very, very possible, because it was no given that we were going to win this game. It was always going to be the really crunch pool game for us to try and get out of the group.
He's going to get them home with his kicking. They must keep attacking and keep playing the way they did in the first 40 minutes. They can't go into their shell.
Bit of confusion. Watson can't hear anything. The game used to be an awful lot simpler if you didn't have to be tuned into everybody else. We used to tidy up our cursing. We couldn't curse over the referee's mark.
This ground, by the way, was first visited by a rugby team.
Right, they have the wind. 1 point behind. I think Argentina are feeling in a good place.
You can see the stress in all our faces. Actually, Simon Easterby there looked gaunt.
Argentina gets the second half underway, and that's Horgan, the right winger, getting involved. Very tall man, and he was in the thick of the action that time. Now Humphreys, and a hurried kick.
You can see the wind there. That caught that a bit, but that's a decent start. No nerves in that. Proper play.
Yeah, Shaggy coming in field there for their kickoff was a big plus. He was very, very good in the air, and a great take from him there.
So strongly taken at the front by Fernandez Love. There's Mendes.
Paul actually did well to pull down that maul there. You can even hear him on the mic. I'm pulling it, although. Is he given a penalty for it?
He gave the penalty against John Hayes, I think.
Do it immediately. Doesn't matter when you're on loan. Do it immediately or don't do it at all.
Okay, he's saying he didn't do it immediately.
Well, he couldn't have done it any faster, I don't think. So I thought it was against John Hayes, because John Hayes pulled down the next one.
But Easterby and Humphreys coming through with the charge down, but the infringement.
See, now we're back under pressure again. And of course, what does he look at doing? We're thinking he's kicking for touch, not a chance in it.
Yeah, he has the wind with him, and he's right. Right to have a shot there. I think I would have as well. You know, they're only a point behind. It's a good distance out. Would you have any hesitancy there about having the shot at goal, or would you talk to the player himself, or would you make the decision?
It depends. Depends on the time of the match. It depends on the body language and the face of your kicker. And it depends on the situations, actually. So for them, they're kicking everything. They are never kicking to the corner. They will only ever kick to the corner if they're chasing and it's in the last 10 minutes of the game. So, yeah, for some, definitely. For some others, not.
Starts it well out to the right. Too far.
Yeah,
they're going to kick everything.
Right.
And they're going to kick everything. You know, whatever it is, because this is a cup match and that's how they're playing it. So I think you do different things in different circumstances. There's a flow and a momentum of a game, and you can say, well, if we kick into the corner, we could hold them down here for 5 minutes and get a score. That could be great.
It was a great take from O'Connell, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of shoe pie, as they call it.
In this second term, here's Humphreys.
And this is what we didn't do in the first half. We didn't spend time pinning them back. They were the ones pinning us back. So like sometimes it's easier playing into the wind because it forces your hand at different times to do different things. But sometimes you think the wind will do all the work for you.
This is where they must challenge the Argentinian line out, put them under pressure and try for a turnover.
Taken at the front by Fernandez Love. Known as Nacho to teammates. They love this. Earlier release that time for Quesada.
And you can just see you could pass the ball back into the 22. And that law changed about 5 or 6 years after this. Couldn't do that now. Some of those law changes have been fantastic. Some of them I think maybe not quite so good, but that one is a great one.
It is, yeah.
Victor Costello here has gone out to the back line for the Irish side. Will they use him?
That's a decent throw now, in fairness to you, even with me gone.
Probably marginally crooked, but I'll take it.
A little bit. Good feet from Eric.
So here's O'Driscoll trying to step his way through, but the defence was...
It's turned over.
And it's been pilfered.
Actually, our rucking was very poor in this game. The more I look at it, they were very strong on their feet, but Drico did everything that you'd want to do right there. But he ended up falling on his back, and they flushed players in over the top. Now we're under pressure.
See how passive the defence is. It's just a drift defence rather than getting off the line any bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
The two big locks playing out on the wing there. Now Corletto.
That's poor from them, because if they could have got that through the hands, realigned a little bit better. All their forwards were stuck in the middle of the field. There was a lot of space outside Simon Easterby there.
Martin just taking his eye off the ball. And Corletto putting it in front of him.
They didn't really get any sort of shape. Drico was there, but there was still a fair bit of space outside.
I will say Drico covered up a multitude of errors in our team when he defended at 13. He understood it really well. He often wouldn't make the tackle, but he never had to. He'd be in the eye line of their out half all the time. He did some amount of work that people wouldn't see.
Yeah, definitely.
O'Driscoll.
Thanks, Drico.
Yeah,
another
bit of a setup there.
That was just sloppy. Yeah, it's just sloppy from us, though. I mean, I should have obviously held on to that, but I thought I played well in this game. It's very frustrating.
I know. Just so many errors. People were shipping on the ball, and it's kind of unlike Drico. He'd nearly pin the ears back and find a little pocket there, wouldn't he? Normally.
Well, we saw there Contatoni coming up out of the line, putting pressure on Keith Wood, and forcing that turnover.
Great hands from Paulie. Bit of an underthrow.
Good tackle by Quesada. Max was threatening that time.
You're so right about the breakdown. It's just everyone kind of off their feet. There's no clean, there's no sense of driving over the ball and it being really clean for Stringer. Everyone is kind of flopping down.
But there's pretty much no offside line either.
Yeah.
And now Hickey. Bit of space here for Hickey. No one at home on that right wing. But bouncing back in field to Albanese. And with the safety of his 22, he can kick out on the full. And he's taken play over the halfway line.
Good work by Albanese. Interesting decision by Hickey.
Do you remember him in '99 doing this one? Show me the money after he scored.
I knew I just liked him.
He was a good player, though, in fairness to him.
Great.
Nice fella as well.
So Max short of halfway. And a good low tackle there by Ostiglia. Keith Woods.
There's that low
They are
tackle
popping
again.
up a good bit in this match, in fairness to you.
Dempsey to Hickey. He's beaten 3. And then finally Reggiado. Good clean out from the Irish forwards.
Hump's taking far too much ball into contact. Don't like your 10 ever doing that, really. You want him pulling the strings.
Oh, just got to be patient. Just keep building the phases. Look for the crack in the armour.
That's Corrigan.
But fantastic defence by the Argentinians so far. Rushing up in defence, putting pressure on the Irish.
Bit of room here for Horgan. Albanese holding on to his bootlace. So Ireland being thwarted.
A lot of fellas walking there, out of breath.
Talked about pressure.
Yeah.
Shaggy tried a little flick there, but
Pressure causes the mistakes. Trying to do a flick out.
wasn't on.
No room anyway to pass. It should have just gone to ground. Morgan
help.
makes the mistake now for the turnover to the
Lucas
Argentinians.
Ostiglia. And it's 10-9. No change to the half-time score.
Get the ball in.
That's the voice of Buddha Handy, I think, as well.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a line-up. Let's carry on.
See, I love this. No fuss. Let's carry on. The guy's done injured. It isn't that serious. Play on.
Let's play away.
Knock on in the line-out.
Well, the referee making play continue there. Although there was an injured man, he said he's not interfering with the play. We will continue. The line-up took place unexpectedly.
Hey, we fucking nothing. You just relax. You too. Right?
Temper's starting to flare up there. John Hayes walking back, bumping into Reggiato and Grau.
Break up. Break up.
Obviously, Prop's having a little bit of a dust-up.
Are you all right? Are you all right?
John Hayes is no slouch. He tips the scales at 120 kilos and stands 6'4" or 1.82 metres. That's Costello, former Olympic shot putter in Barcelona, finished 17th in the competition. And Humphries now with a guided missile has put it several metres over the touchline.
David Humphries, he's got to start thinking, he knows he's disappointed.
Now you just know Eddie sitting in the stand saying, "Okay, change. Going to be a change. That's another ball going up the full." You know he's going to bring O'Gara on pretty soon. Eddie would always react to things that happen on the field rather than a fully preordained plan. You know.
Yeah. I think Rogers did a good bit of a rivalry, both of them, and he wasn't best pleased. I was rooming with Rog, so he was doing lots of growling that he wasn't selected. We had 2 ice bats the night before anyway, and I said to him, he wasn't that keen on the ice bat initially, but then he kind of relented and went in. And he was normally always having them, but he was just growly, as he normally is about not being selected if he ever was.
Yeah.
Wasn't selected. He did well when he came on, though, to be fair, and we'll see him in a few minutes. Humps is a great player, like, in fairness, but just a few things went wrong in this game.
Well, that wasn't one of them. That was right.
No, it wasn't.
Stringer was doing,
no, it wasn't.
Throwing it into him on the line, you know.
No, that wasn't one of them. Humps was brilliant. And
I thought we were lucky.
1 or 2 little things.
I thought we were lucky that we had Humps and Rog together, and then lucky
Absolutely.
when we'd Rog and Johnny, and there was a crossover with them.
He's got to start settling it down. Dempsey goes up high, misses the ball. But Ireland have got to settle it down here. They're making too many elementary mistakes.
Alvarez gets another line-out. That's his 5th line-out win for Argentina. And this is where they've sapped the strength of the Irish forwards with these driving balls off the line-out. They've made about 15 metres here. Longo charges ahead. Pichot comes in. That's Hayes.
It's a good turnover there, I think.
Not like him.
Mendes the tackler. Now he has to roll away.
See, if I was there now, I'd probably be. I would have probably given Mendes a rub of the boot, and the penalty would have been reversed.
Well, you went off at the right time, so Quinny.
No, I wouldn't have done
actually,
that.
I'm even finding this uncomfortable watching now. It's hard watching now, knowing kind of what's at stake, and also, you know, the pressure that was in on it.
Yeah, good tackle from Humps there on Fernandez Lobe.
Quesada now to Contepomi, and they just can't hold on to that crucial ball. That was Nunez Piasek, who's had a tough time out on the wing because he hasn't seen much of it. And he was just over anxious that time. So there's a good kick by Dempsey. Boleto goes quickly to Albanese. Off he goes. He beat the tackle of Dempsey. This is Alvarez, the young lock.
There's a good tackle by Malo Kelly there in midfield, and Albanese, in fairness to him.
Quesada hammered, sandwiched. But there was a good drive from his fellow forwards, and also Orengo, number 13. enabled them to retain possession. Contrepommy.
You can go.
He won't be happy with that kick.
Oh, poor options by Contrepommy. They've got to keep it in their hands. They've got to test the Irish defence.
Hickey's doing that here. Through the gap. He got round.
Oh, back in the inside to Humps.
Forward pass and a knock on.
Great pace from Dennis. It was a hard pass now to give back in the inside.
Yeah, but he had to do it early. He kind of used it up at that stage.
He had two coming across. And good counter-attack by Ireland, keeping the ball in hand.
Catching forwards on their heels. There.
Just couldn't stand the last two up.
Not enough of green shirts there though, is there? Jesus, there's about 5 or 6 Argentinians get back. The reaction wasn't great, no.
Corrigan not happy with Reggiardo, who's known as the agent provocateur.
I'm sure you could pick up that little bit there. Reggie's giving out. Reggie Corrigan, that Reggiardo stepped in his hand. I have to laugh. Andre Watson says it might have been an accident.
The next one is it.
We see Reggie Corrigan on the ground holding his nose. The penalty actually against Victor Costello for taking a wild air swing, and it looks like he's kicked one of his own players in the head. But as they say in the Golden Book, better one of your own than one of them.
Give it time out.
Let's just see if we can pick it up.
The wheel by Ireland. Good work to start with, but Corrigan goes to ground. It looks like he's actually been injured somehow. Something's collected him before he's actually hit the ground. Possibly a knee.
So it's still nip and tuckle, Ireland 10-9. Reggie Corrigan. So he may have popped a short one. Whether from the knee or the hand. Ronan O'Gara warming up. They need some spark in this back line. He's on the pitch. Humphries has departed. Reggie Corrigan is still in the hands of the trainer after popping one in the head in that last scrum. And at least he can replace his contact lens here. Or was it a smelling salt? The crowd just under 29,000.
Well, Tim, David Humphries wouldn't be happy with his game today, would he?
No, I think he's kicked too much ball away, David Humphries. A good decision by the coach of Ireland, Eddie O'Sullivan, to take him off early. There's still a lot to play in this. We've seen the way that Ryan O'Gara has played in the last game at Aussie Stadium in Sydney. And he'll be looking to keep the ball in hand and keep the likes of Mags and O'Driscoll. They need to start unleashing O'Driscoll, the senior player on the side. He needs to take control.
So Corrigan off the pitch.
Inside the 5. Inside the 5.
Not happy about being replaced, it would seem. He's pouring his on. And
Just let him go.
inside the 5
Let
metres
him go.
there. Not allowing the ball to go in 5 metres. Here's Wood. 5 metres into Argentine territory. And remember, O'Gara's on the field now. Can we just introduce a little bit more flair and some better option taking in that fly half roll? Argentina have pinched it again.
Rogers' first involvement, tackle, and the ball was stripped off him.
Yeah,
He killed me for saying that.
Yeah, but you don't want him taking it into context. So he
Yeah,
got the ball
strings.
flat. He got the ball flat, looked up with a bit behind him. He had to readjust, and in doing so, he didn't want to pass. So then he has to take it up. So I'd always say in those instances, you always want to have a forward on the inside of the 10 just to mop it up. You don't want your 10 doing that at all.
11 national championships with the San Isidro club. So Argentina not able to steal the ball, but they'll be aiming to keep the Irish down here.
Would he play scrum half here? Strings was out of it.
No, a bigger ball version.
Now talk me through this.
That stringer. Oh my God.
He's hit it pretty well. It's close. Bravo.
You have to kick the ball off the field, and unfortunately that was 15 yards inside, and no bother whatsoever for Corletto. He was well able to hit the ball from a long way out. Like, that's a huge kick, and that was a gut wrench.
That
Some strike, wasn't it, in fairness?
Huge
Wind was with him,
strike,
but he
and
hit it perfectly.
well, it went 15 yards over the bar, so.
But they couldn't score points. That was the crack they needed.
So we managed to keep them out of our half for a long time. That's just from a little bit loose. Very, very frustrating. So now we have to spend time in their half.
Nearly all of 50 metres. And Quesada now with another probing kick. Gaining 50 metres downfield.
Yeah, they hadn't really attacked that much there, had they? And suddenly they're 2 points ahead. And Eddie looks pretty nervous there. He was so tense before the game, wasn't he?
Very tense, but we haven't scored for, I don't know what period of time we scored, but we haven't scored for 25, 30 minutes at this stage. And it's just nerves, tension, stress.
So the Irish
trying to do the right thing, trying to do them simple.
were on the receiving end in 99 against Argentina. Have been pinned down inside their half by that prodigious boot of Quesada.
That's a great maul.
It looked to be. Referee thinks so. This is Horan the prop. Still advantage for Ireland.
It's another penalty. Well, again, that's the forwards trying to take control of the game, trying to see if we can tire them out. Just trying to do a simple thing and do it well.
Down on one knee is equivalent to being on the ground off your feet.
And good advantage law as well by Andre Watson. The advantage rule allows for Watson to save the Irish side. You have advantage.
Why does it always happen when you're behind that you do the simple things well and you try and really focus and zone in to try and get into the opposition half and eke out a penalty or eke out a score? It's amazing the way it happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a shock of it, I suppose. And a bit of desperation, I suppose, as well, and you just get a bit of energy or enthusiasm from somewhere out of it. It's a great line out.
They just haven't done it so far.
O'Connell got it. O'Gara and Mags.
Thanks, he's like
He was a great carrier, wasn't he? Great carrier.
I could dodge him.
But there's a good line for Argentina. As they back
Good line from Eric in the inside as well.
O'Gara again. And O'Driscoll. Huge tackle by Nunez Piasek.
Listen, you made the tackle. Get on
Keith
your feet
Wood has
before you play the
taken
ball.
a
You
blow
can't
on
take
his
the
right
ball while
eye.
lying on the ground. I want you to get back on your feet.
So
Was he unlucky there? Was it a penalty, would he?
on the ground, interfering with the ball.
I don't know whether it was. We try to clear him out there. He's
It was
leading.
Cantapome. I think. Yeah, I think it's Piasek. It's Piasek who was illegal. I think Felipe Cantapome was okay where he was. But much better play, isn't it? It's momentum going forward. Good line out win. Great carry from Magsy, and then great ball presentation. And Eric Miller carries back in the inside off Rog. So it seemed to wake you up, that drop goal anyway.
So first kick at goal for Ronan O'Gara. He was in sweet form at Aussie Stadium against Namibia. And you can't do it much better than that.
But in fairness to Rog, on he comes and bangs it over.
That's a great strike there, isn't it?
Their army of supporters send a huge
It took away that little bit of
appreciation around the Adelaide Oval.
that big boost that they got with the drop goal. It just took away that little bit of confidence from them.
Well, we've been under
It was
pressure.
really,
and then-
really important though to get that score quickly, wasn't it? After they'd scored.
Yeah. So they'd had to work for 20 minutes to score, and it just took us pretty much 2 minutes to score on that one to react. So again, simple things done well.
Going very high.
Win the kickoff
And O'Gara.
when you score.
No touch. This is Longo and Carlotto. Carlotto able to effect the tackle. And O'Gara again. Still a big gain for Ireland.
But it's about trying to get the ball
was
off the field in that instance. Yeah.
Yeah, it was starting to open up a little bit there. He could have passed that. There was a lot of space outside, but
I'd have killed him if he passed it. I have to
I know
say,
you would have killed him. Yeah, you would have killed him.
we need the ball down here because discipline. We were making error after error. Our discipline was poor, Any penalty we give away, they're going to put over. So we just don't want to play in our half at all.
Longo couldn't hold on. Here comes Costello.
Yeah, you're right. There's the mistake from the line out and back in the attack.
And Magsy had a fine game. Did a lot of work.
Yeah.
Straight from the side. And shoulder. And shoulder only. Use arms.
So
and check
there was
your
a
angle,
tackle
please.
situation. Opposition
Number 4.
players coming in on
To
the
the
side
side
of the tackle
and no arms,
instead of
just shoulder.
from behind the last feet.
Let's watch Mal here. Where does he come out of?
I think that's very harsh.
That's very, very, very soft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Referee also mentioned use of the shoulder there.
But it's amazing what that does to your composure when you think you're in a good position. They've made the mistake, and suddenly you're back in your own half again, back under pressure again, afraid to give away a penalty. That's one of the great things of the 2000s after this, was the team wasn't as afraid. They got used to winning, which was a really big thing. John Hayes with a line-out win. There you go.
John Hayes with a line-out win, yeah.
Awesome work on relief here for Ireland. No advantage.
I love playing with Hayes. He wasn't technically the best scrummaging tight head. He was too big. He was 6'4". But if he got into a right position, he was brilliant. But he was about the most honest guy I've ever played in a rugby field with. He never complained once. If we didn't help him or nothing happened, or if it was his fault, he never shifted the blame on anybody. You just see he's in the wrong position there now. Referee lets it off.
Everywhere, the players just had so much respect for him, his teammates, and just the honesty and the work rate. Now here you go. Jesus, go on, Marcus Horan.
That'll be a high tackle now.
Yeah. Pass.
They're queuing up out here. Hickey pins his ears back. He's still playing advantage here for Ireland. The penalty's on. This is Big Hogan. Another glorious try-saving tackle.
It's fantastic rugby.
The Irish have got to get it out. They've got a massive overlap.
Offside.
Yeah, they came in from the side and kicked the ball out there, but that's you were in the right place at the right time there to receive that kick, and then you made a good decision to pass it to the faster guy back in the inside.
There you go.
Was he the faster guy? No, but Marcus had fair pace for a prop. In fairness,
he was flying. He was the running guy. I was the standing guy. So Marcus was incredibly quick. Loved the ball in his hands too. Good fun, Lara, man.
Okay, 13-12.
I'm getting very old at this stage. I'm 2 weeks away from retiring. I wanted to be 4 weeks away. I wanted to retire after World Cup final. We didn't get there. But I had a long and hard struggle to try and get to play in this. 3 operations to play in this World Cup. And I was 31, but I'd say I was in my early 50s, really.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was time for me to stop.
They've got the penalty. And this looks to be a gift for O'Gara. And a 4-point advantage for the Irish. 16-12. Just over 14 minutes remaining.
13 odd minutes to go. Nobody getting overly excited, but delighted that it's away from just a 1 or 2 pointer, that there's 4 points in it. We trust our defence.
Smell of victory. But can the Irish pull it off?
Marcelo Lofreda now must be considering changes to his Puma side. A try would put Argentina in the leads, but the Irish have certainly...
Difference it makes, isn't it, just winning the kickoff like that. You saw the ones in the first half where you get the score and you just give it straight back from the kickoff. And it's not even about making huge yards there, it's just psychologically just not giving them an opportunity.
Yeah, doing your job, getting it done. Simple, pass back in and kicked out. 10-yard line at least. We're not in their half, but we're away from our own.
Is he biting his lip there?
They don't want to be in a situation where they have to beat Australia on November 1 to make it through to the quarters. They have to win here today.
Geez, another turnover after a good steal in the line out.
This is Martin.
Yeah, and there's guys off their feet everywhere in the midst of this. It's just, I mean, they tidied up the rucking an awful lot after this World Cup because of it. Great tackle from O'Driscoll. Again, that's a high level of trust. Dennis Hickey didn't bite in at all. And again, that's one of the things that O'Driscoll did so well. You know, everybody looked at all the class things that he would do, but everybody trusted him around him. You know, they knew he was going to do what he said he was going to do and be where he was supposed to be. Gives a great sense of comfort to all the players around him.
Yeah, you can see from Dennis there, he knew that Dricka was on his inside and was going to make that tackle.
That's brilliant there from Paulie. Like, we're now beginning to cause havoc on their line out, which we need to be because we're under pressure all the time. But these kicks need to be going out.
Going to touch, here's Corletto. Now the Argentine players have to get outside that 10-metre line. And Argentina losing the ball forward in that skirmish.
Yeah, it's you've got to put those out, don't you? You got to put them into the stand when you win a turnover like that, and just inviting back that pressure again. You drive me demented.
But if you're looking at this setup now, if this was nearly any other game, none of the front rows would be on. There's 5 of the original guys are on this one. They'd all have gone off about 10 or 15 minutes at this stage.
Yeah.
And Keith Woods, kick and chase. What about this one?
Outstanding kick.
You
loved it. You were buzzing. You got better as the match went on. Well, in fairness, you started well and you're finishing well anyway.
Well, no harm to kick it. I wanted the ball out of our half, you know, and a bit of an agricultural hoof, but we'll take it. Bit of extra pressure on them. And Paulie, total nuisance on his own, jumping on his own there.
Yeah, it's just getting him on the ground there just makes it a bit sloppy for him, doesn't it? Although that's a brilliant kick from him. And Quesada.
When it comes to playing rugby. Good work there by Hickey and now Dempsey.
A dreadful kick from Girvan. I mean, it's just, you can just see everything is tight. Even Dennis fumbling a little and he caught it, but we're just tight at this stage and more afraid to lose, I think, than we are eager to win. And it's a disturbing place to be, a hard place to be.
Close to the other's line, it could be the loss of a game.
Longo not able to hold on, but Grau did very well to pull that ball down. He shot the captain. And Quesada almost dropped it. That was a little kick ahead, I think, but it was knocked on by Ireland. There was a man off his feet.
Here we go.
Now this again is an opportunity for Argentina to mount a situation where they can score a try.
Attempted a little chip over the top. Then the ball came to the ground and the referee given the penalty saying the man who actually had to go at the ball was on the ground whilst he was trying to play it.
Yes, it was a fair call. The Irish player was off his feet. He tried to trip Quesada. So it's 28 metres out. The Pumas have got to hold on to the ball. And really squeeze the life out of the Irish forwards here. Ireland leading by 16 to 12, and Grau has dropped it. Counters on for the Irish. O'Driscoll offloads beautifully.
I think the kick was on there, wasn't it? That was the time to put it downfield.
Kick or even the passing, just see that there. Now that's just a guy just pouncing on the ball coming in the side. And we're back under pressure again, but it's about trying to, again, I keep saying it, trying to not play where you're under pressure and I mean, it's just lucky. John Hayes, I mean, the amount of work he has
covered
done
some
in this
ground,
game,
didn't he?
Yeah.
It's just pure kamikaze stuff, wasn't it, from both sides there? Stupid
the ball
decisions.
isn't going out. It's not been. It's just running willy-nilly, you know.
Albanese keeping the ball in play, and this is Dempsey. 8 minutes to go. It's Ireland leading by 16 to 12.
Well, they can start taking a breath now, the players.
Number 3, blue.
Back and
Three
forth. Irish had to go, and then there was a turnover.
7.
And with only 8 minutes to go, it's important to keep the pressure on.
8.
So Martin Celso,
Okay,
big lump of a lad, Dan Crowley, coming on for Rejado, who's had a powerhouse game at tight head prop for Argentina.
Rajado, he's done the work, he's done the hard yards, and he deserves a well-earned break.
That's long go.
Well, it's a little bit of a shoulder tackle out of you now. No arms.
I think he stepped me.
Interfering with the ball on the ground, he's to be saying I was on the feet.
He's given a lot of penalties here to Argentina, isn't he?
Well, this just
He
That
is,
should have
yeah.
been a penalty, but I think Simon was fine there, wasn't he?
occasion.
Yeah, it's
Lights have been turned
Ish.
on here.
trying to remember exactly what the laws were at any particular moment in time. It makes it hard to look at it, but I'd have said his hands were on the floor, which was kind of allowed then, but you know, I would say that was he's sealing it off. I think that makes it hard to do it, but it's just nervy, messy, awkward, and like you're looking at this and you're saying, I don't even want to go back for it because he's going to bang it over the bar. 5 minutes to go.
45 metres.
I mean, I can honestly say I did not enjoy any moment of this game.
Deep side.
There was nothing nice in it. You play the game to enjoy it and love it, but this was the most stressful day I think I ever put down. It was just pretty horrible stuff.
To bring Argentina to within 1 point. How did he go? Take that, he says.
Well, if you didn't enjoy it anyway, you can imagine how I felt. I'd rather be out there in the field like you, running around blowing, than where I am at the moment. But anyway,
And look, it was a huge Irish crowd, and you can just see there's very few people jumping up and down. There wasn't a huge amount of Argentinians there, but here we are, just a couple of minutes left.
So Ronan O'Gara gets proceedings underway, and this is Montepone. He's really given more thrust and flair to the Pumas back line. Quesada has unloaded, but this is big Horgan. Shane Horgan from Leinster, who plays normally with Brian O'Driscoll in the centres at provincial level.
It goes out at last.
There's a pretty big wind. It's hard to describe it, but it was, you know.
But there was so many kicks in this game, Woody, that any of the players, not just Humps, Rog, but Dennis, Gervin, Drico, players who kicked it, who kept it in field when you just think they had to go out, take a few yards off it and put it out over the touchline and just control the tempo a little bit.
They're not going to do it with mistakes like that.
But as you say, it probably comes from the pressure and the nerves of.
Albanese.
It's amazing what that can do to you.
Morgan's there, he's in trouble. And he's taken very strongly there by O'Kelly. Argentina's forward slow to get back. And that was Celso. A big rock. Keith Wood came through. The referee said the ball was out.
Jeez, you got away with one there.
I actually remember that because Eddie gave me a hard time afterwards over it, and I said the referee had said it's out, and he said and the previous one he said it was out. So I was listening to the ref. The referee was about a yard away from me, so do what you're told. You know, it looked all wrong, mind you, but yeah,
It looked wrong, yeah, but if he said it was out, I don't know where it was out, like.
Yeah.
And then we turned it over again. Quesada kicks it out, but you give your friend Pisha a little bump there.
It's all right.
So 4 minutes to go.
That's not all right. I will take it. Bit of a push. Spares my blush just a little.
Obstruction in the lineup.
Yeah.
And that's a
And this is just too far to kick. This is into the wind. You want to be able to kick it. You'd like Rog to say, yeah, I can do this. Put that wind into our face. And you waste a bit of time. You're trying to figure out exactly what's the right thing to do. Let's go a long way down and see what happens.
Kick the touch and keep them under pressure. Had he missed the kick a long way out, Argentina would have been back on attack.
He's not happy. He thinks he should be farther.
And it's important for Ireland to get this one. They've had 7 losses so far. They had this problem against Australia in the opening match.
Beautifully taken by O'Connell.
This is a throwback. Absolutely throwback to what you do. No, Victor shouldn't have gone there at all.
No, shouldn't have went. Shouldn't have budged.
For as long as possible, you're just trying to wind down the clock.
O'Driscoll! Grasped there desperately by Martin. Here's Stringer.
Shaggy shouldn't be touching the ball there either on that one. Just
no.
Saving the day.
It was.
Now the drop goal's on for O'Gara. He changes his mind. Mags is hammered.
Jesus, it was all unnecessary stuff, wasn't it?
Just pressure. You can just see it. It's all over everybody. What do we do? How do we do it?
Poor decision making under that pressure.
And now Albanese. This is Mendes, the hooker. And it puts us out.
Go for the green. First of green, then blue. Blue scrum.
First by Ireland.
They were looking for Quesada, but he was down in back play, so they had to run it.
Couple of great positions there, and just turning it over, and then Argentina just didn't capitalise there. Victor and Hayes actually did well here on the outside, just and Mal.
Just looking at it, feeling uncomfortable. There's nothing nice in this. Just.
And 3 of the tight forwards for Ireland across in cover.
It's just hard to play any sort of free-flowing rugby for both sides, really.
Yeah.
Quesada trying to get him off the field. Bring on Gaitan to replace him, but important in the last couple of minutes to have this man on the pitch in case they get a penalty at least 50 metres out. We'll slot it.
Let's go.
You can hear the chant of the crowd.
There's not enough time for the Argentinians to just kick it down and hope for another line out or a mistake. They've got to keep this ball in hand.
Throw down.
And that's what they needed.
I don't know what the stats for this are.
Back 10, here's Bishops. They're doing just that, Contepomi. Now it's dangerous for Ireland. They can't.
This is now in penalty territory.
40 metres out from goal. You can hear the referee saying, don't do anything silly, the drop goal. He thought about it, Quesada, and then lost it. Heartbreaker for the Pumas.
All the way.
And O'Driscoll's put to ground. Here's Costello. Inside.
All we need to do is hold on to the ball.
Seconds to go. O'Gara to Hickey. This is Horgan. Fernandez Lobbe around his hips. Still they come. Well, the Pumas need a miracle now. Ireland by a point. Just seconds remaining.
Another poor decision to go down the blind side there with a pick and go, wasn't it?
For the Irish, Argentina almost stealing it. Probably at a point here where they only have to heave it into touch. And that will mean very good news for Australia as well. That's Hayes. Time's up on the clock. O'Gara. Max setting it back. Stringer. O'Gara goes to O'Driscoll.
Like we're going wide here. We don't have a whole lot of players.
22-metre line. And Stringer throws a loose pass. Is that full time?
No, we'll take this.
Andre Watson says no.
Like it's like a never-ending game. Like this should have been blown up. We're just under. Look, you can see Eddie's face.
So still breathing space. There are plenty of.
He's popping ready now at this stage.
Just keep the ball in field, tight to the ruck. Couple of pick and goes, couple of one-out runners. Not trying to move it wide and then going down the blind side with just a winger.
Argentina just got to hold on to the ball, keep advancing it.
I suppose it's easy when you watch it back to see everything that's wrong on it.
Well read there by Easterby. Pichot, Quesada, Contepomi. He's beaten two. Semblance of a chance here for
O'Driscoll. Oh, beaten.
Now they can go. Nunez Piasek.
Fantastic by Garvin.
Great cover.
God, I thought there was more as well. I tell you, I said there's. I didn't enjoy this game. That's the only moment I enjoyed of that whole game. That final whistle. Look, you can see it. I am absolutely calving. I'm in all sorts of trouble there. No arms up in the air. I'm falling apart.
He's one happy man to get away with this. There's been some blowouts. I remember the feeling after that. It was relief. It wasn't joy. It was relief that we'd finally got rid of something from 4 years previously. That was the difficulty. I lost it. They asked for an interview here, and I absolutely lost it, and half threatened to kill the poor interviewer, the young fella. I went back into the change room, came back out and talked to him then afterwards, and collapsed in the change room because it was the most fatiguing, just soul-destroying game. That was just tension and pressure, but very happy when it was over.
How tight was that?
I think you look at the scoreboard, you can't get much tighter than 1 point. It really went down to the death, and just thank God we came out on the right side of the result.
We were expecting such a tight and such a tough game. What was it like to be out there?
I'm sure it was a lot nicer being out there than sitting up in the stands. You know, it's always nicer being involved than biting your nails, but we were pretty much doing that right to the end, and very thankful that the smallest possible margin, we knew it was going to be very close with them, and it turned out to be that case.
What does it feel like to be through to the quarterfinals?
It's a fantastic feeling. I know what the flip side of this is, being knocked out in '99 by the Argentinians, and it's kind of a bitter pill to swallow, but it makes this so much sweeter going through this time round.
Thanks, Brian. Well done.
Thanks, Claire.
Pretty good to hear there from Trico. Looking very young.
Captain, you're through to the quarterfinals just by a point.
Just by a point.
I was grumpy now.
I almost can't believe how badly we played. We didn't leave ourselves down because we came away with the victory at the end, but we seemed to freeze somewhat. This is a phenomenally hard game for us. It was, I suppose, the weight and expectation of 4 years. Even if we weren't feeling it, I think we felt it today. And ultimately, we held our discipline at the end. We got the scores that counted. I'm absolutely thrilled. I mean, we're very, very happy. But I think the shackles are off now. We have to give it a real go from here on in.
It was a really tough contest, as you expected.
Very bruising. It was man and ball tackles all day, and there's a lot of turnovers, and it was just very, very hard. It was an unbelievably nervy game from both sides, and it meant you could just see how much it meant to both sides. And but I'm thrilled. I may not show it, but I'm thrilled to bits at the moment.
It's great to be choosing the last 8 before you meet Australia in your last pool game next week.
I don't know that really matters. I mean, we had to focus on today. We had to win today. We've had that job done so far. Next week will take care of itself.
Thanks, Keith. Congratulations.
Cheers.
I was a good man for the cliches there, I think, to be honest. But
it was a boring enough interview, to be honest.
I was tired. I think that you got all of it. Listen, that's it for now. So a game, I think, that was low on quality, high on nerves, and in a way exercised the disaster of Long's 4 years previously. So, Alan Quinlan, thanks very much for today, and also giving your shoulder for Ireland. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the insight. Compliments of Heineken.